handle on their own. Every man goes through something he cannot handle. If it was all easy, then it wouldn't mean anything, what you think. It wouldn't mean a thing, because in essence, if you never endure anything, it don't make you strong at all. Being a champion of God, being a champion, you have to go through. One of the things it did for me, it stole my joy. I'm telling you, I began to do this thing, and there was no joy in it anymore for me. I have no joy at all. Being a father, being a husband, there was no joy. Continuous suffering, there's no joy in suffering, is it? It isn't. Especially when you're doing all you know to do. There was no joy. I had lost my joy. I read and pray, and still my joy was stolen by the things I suffered. I read the scripture, count it all joy when you go through various trials, persecution, hardships. But unless you go through, you'll never experience joy. I was going through, but God had to bring my joy back. He sent men of God that understood the time. And this precious sister on Friday, she would never let me go. I tried my best. She just wouldn't let me go. But she understood what I really needed, what I was crying out to God about. Only God could tell her that, because I never told nobody. Walked around smiling, always encouraging others. You need to do this. But God was developing a champion. My joy is back.
Amen.
Because someone decided not to give up on me.
Amen.
My joy. I'm happy. It might seem to you that I'm saying, I am happy this morning. Because in 4 months, this is the 5th month, the four months of this year, you talking about somebody depressed and you would never know it. Because I never once showed how depressed I was. Because I was waiting on God. You ever wait on God? It never when you want it. But when you seems like you're getting to the lowest of lows, it seems like God always shows up. Always. Taste and see that the Lord is good. I was waiting to taste. But it took someone to understand and listen to God for me. I didn't tell them why. I just asked the pastor, his secretary, could his pastor be available for the day? Didn't tell him anything. I said, man, I need you to come out if you can. Bring your church family with you. And that woman prayed. And she heard God's voice for me. See, if you turn with me to the book of Exodus, chapter number 17. Exodus 17. I just want to point out a couple of scriptures to you. I had a whole bunch of things written down about how or developing a champion of God. Developing a champion of God. I only gonna give you one today. Just one. I think the men of God on Friday and Saturday did an excellent job of explaining to us of developing a champion. I like the things in which they have stated. I'm going to use them one day. But God says not today. I want to show you. You ever want to be a champion in your life? One thing. We all have to go through the test, the fire in life. If God called and you accepted the call, that is salvation itself. That's what it means. When God calls and you accepted the call, it talks about salvation. The greatest thing God requires of you after salvation, I believe, is found in these scriptures here. In Exodus chapter number 17. I'm not going to be before you long because I think that if you didn't receive anything through worship, there's nothing I can do for you. If you ever, as I stated before, experience the things of God, then you understand where I'm going with through these scriptures here. It says in the first verse, the entire Israelite community left the wilderness of sin. Not talking about sin as a sickness, talking about a place, a region in the wilderness in which God took the people of Israel. And I'm thinking the whole time that God says they could have made it in 14 days. It took them 40 years. And some of them still didn't make it. But this was a place on their way in the wilderness, or it says also it's a desert place. Nothing grew. And I know that in my life at times I felt like nothing was growing. Things stayed the same. And at times it got depleted. The things, a little that I had, began to be nothing. I used to think, man, no, I'm faithful in paying my tithes. I was faithful. What a man at? He can tell you. I would not rob God for nothing. Care how bad things got. I made a covenant with God when I gave my life to God that I won't rob him. That's one thing I did do. Right. I said, Lord, I'm not robbing you because I know that you are my source. I'm not going to do that. Care how bad things got for me. I would not do that. The covenant I made with God wasn't because of the fact that it was by law. Because we break many laws all the time, don't we? You see the speed limit out there, 45. We in a hurry, guess what? The law goes right out the window, don't it? Hey, I'm in a hurry. It's only because of my commitment that I wanted to show him how much I love what he was doing for me. That's why. But the same way, if people don't know, people didn't know. The Israelites did not know. They understood covenant. They never understood relationship. And most of God's people today understands the word, but they never understand the relationship that goes along with what God says. See, I knew one thing, that, hey, I built a relationship with God. Of all the things that I struggle with, I built this relationship with God. Not always in the good times. See, I learned that too. See, you can give a person all they want when they want it. Suppose you can't give no more.